So the next step is retention, upskilling as risk management. So I think here, it's important to remember that when we bring somebody into the business, that is not a done deal. We have to continue offering amazing things to this person, offering development opportunities, great projects, responsibility, ownership, autonomy. I think that, again, one of the crutches perhaps is that sometimes businesses think, okay, we hired somebody, bums on seats, this person is in, done deal, we can move on and, get on with our day. But really, the first sort of 90 days or the first 6 months, a year, this person is still adapting, it's still assessing, the person is still trying to understand if they fit in all of this, if they like all of this, if they can bring value in all of this. So how can companies, that is the question that we have, how can companies integrate learning into the workflow so that senior experts, and not only senior, I suppose, keep growing without losing productivity?
I really like the analogy with the music and the orchestra, for example, when everybody knows the parts of the other musicians. So, in that way, I would say that to understand, for example, our business in our company, it takes more than 1 year to understand how everything is working together, how the maybe the financial or legal or product or technical things are combined together, and how this works as a product or set of products or set of different product lines or businesses or sub entities or whatever. And to get understand this fully, you need a huge time, right? But what company can do, what actually takes place in SOFTSWISS, we do these inside of our learning portal. We do these courses, we do these lessons for open for everybody with some materials in fancy way that shows how business is working. What is it about this product? What is it about? How does it work? Why did it happen at all? How does it interlink it with the other functions of the company, etc. So we bring these materials, not especially link it to the exact things which his employee is doing, but to let him know about the other aspects of the business, about the other part of this musical thing, right? So it's very important to share this knowledge about the business, how it works, so the employee understand this in full picture and can be much more effective in the way the ideas that he brings every day or approaches that he can propose for deal with this or that challenge. And this is what company have to invest in, to make this knowledge about the overall business, about the different functions, put into the head of the employee, of each employee, to make them more efficient and more onboarded, I would say.
100%, Sergey. And I want to mention here that we have a wonderful talent development team. Shout out to our T&D team, who created, as an example to what Sergey was saying, created an iGaming course for our employees. Now, of course, that's our industry, but a lot of us do not come from the industry because in some roles, it is not needed, right? The skills are transferable from different industries, which we'll also touch on. But this course really allowed us, for people like myself who came from a completely different industry, to understand the ins and outs, the language, the what is GGR, what all of these things mean. What is it that some of our C-level managers are talking on panels and at exhibitions, what it is that they're doing there, and what defines success for us as a business in those terms. And I think that it was so helpful, and it was such a success, that course, and it really helped a lot of people who on a daily basis don't have interaction with some of these things, to understand how, as a whole business, how we operate and what other people in different teams are also doing, and how, we are so successful in our industry. What is that success? What does it mean? So I think for sure what you said is absolutely right. I think the business needs to be prepared to invest money to educate and to grow and to provide all these tools that help people understand where they are, what they're doing, and how they can be successful.
And here we comes to another one opportunity for the business, like internal hiring, because the more people knows about the business, the more opportunities they have inside of this business. It may happen that the person which is very good at some position could be even better at some others. And what we see in SOFTSWISS is that we have such transitions time to time for very different roles, between very different roles and between very different activities. And sometimes it gives very good effect for the business. I mean, positive effects. And these people are even more productive and more efficient in the new role. Or might be that the first experience that they get at their original role basically take a I would say basement for the next step, for the next role within the company. And openness about these operations and about how the business works actually gives such possibility for internal growth of the inside of the company and internal hiring as well.
Definitely. We've stole the question a little bit, so I will ask Alistair and Andy, maybe you have something else to add. Apologies.
Thank you, Natalia. The only thing I would add, and again, it's a personal view, is all the things you said around upskilling, training, personal development, ensuring people understand how they progress through an organization. But all of that, for me personally, comes around regular check-ins as to how you retain staff. I think we're okay at it personally. I think we could be better as an organization ourselves, as our group. But for me, you retain people by ensuring that they are happy and enjoying what they're doing. And you only do that if you have a one-on-one where they can be honest and truthful about how they're feeling under no threat in a safe environment. And that's all I would say. I think regular check-ins with your teams, your people is really the only way to understand if they are happy and challenged.
For sure, I agree. And sorry, Andy, go on.
It's right. I was just going to add. I think it's important also for employers to understand what employees' longer term ambitions are. You know, what's their own personal North Star, as it were. Again, going back to the very first question, you know, a lot of hiring is largely transactional because it's required immediately. The impact is required immediately. Do we tick that box? And I don't disagree with anything that's been said in answer to this question, but I think we can probably have a whole webinar on this particular subject again, right? But
Agree.
I think understanding your employee, understanding how they learn, how they develop, what their aspirations, what their ambitions are, and demonstrating to them a very clear provision for growth and personal development and career development, which I've worked in other sectors. You know, you've worked in other sectors. I think probably and arguably seen, organizations that do that better than gaming has. And I think we would see a lot less we'd see greater retention, a lot less attrition if, because to your point, Sergey, I think a lot of gaming companies lose perfectly good people, perfectly capable people, because the measures are too narrow, too immediate. There's not enough scope or time to evolve those people into a long-term asset for the organization. Again, it would just come back to communication, the regular check-ins, but also, the communication from the client, from the employee to the employer to the employee around what they're thinking for them. Let them feel that and know that they're important, whether they're high potential or just on an upward trajectory. But I think all too often employees have to go and demand a change. Most drastically by resigning. And then lo and behold, there's lots of other opportunities that arise. That's by that point it's too late.
Yes, I agree. And I think important thing to note here and to remember that I think this year in 2026, I think that we do not retain talent by just throwing money at the problem and, just offering more and more money, but to help our talent become more valuable. So they bring value to us, but we also have to invest money to make them more valuable. Again, because then it's a circle. And I think that's very, very important to remember. And I think that that's a nice way to maybe summarize this particular topic. And we will...
I think that's really important.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because what is important to people has changed as well.
Yes,
we're learning that as well. It's not all about what you earn these days. It's important clearly, but there are many other factors involved. So,
especially for senior, I think for senior talent, for junior people, maybe it's more important, it's more significant. But I think for senior people, it definitely is more about how they can grow and how they can become more valuable and learn more and so on, to then be, a much bigger fish in the market.
So actually, catching of the fish process doesn't stop on the employment, at the employed point, right? So
of course, yes.
It goes further and further. So actually, most of the people are growing during the work in the company. So actually what's happening is you're hiring them again for the new position which they grew to, right? So this is the idea. And of course they have to see this opportunity again, and all of this process starts again. So you have to continuously show them opportunities and the abilities of them to get into these opportunities. And I fully agree with you guys that it should be fully transparent from the day one in the company. And then this catching of the fish never finishing.
Never finishes, yes. Alrighty, so this brings us on nicely to step 7, and that is post-employee experience. How to manage alumni as a long-term brand ambassadors. I think the core message here is that, it's very, very tightly connected to iGaming and fintech. That the reputation, company reputation is very often shaped by people who leave us and what they say. And what they say is dependent on how they have been treated in the company, what was their experience. And this is just as important as bringing people in.